For my interviewee, I'm with Glenn Lyman, aka G Cooks, personal chef to elite athletes. Thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me today. I really appreciate it. Before we dive into the sports and management questions, I'd love to get to know you a bit better.
Okay, so
Can you start by telling me about yourself, where you're from, and how you got into the culinary world?
yeah, you got a minute? Because this is going to take a while. I'm originally from Cleveland, Ohio, and it came about in a really strange way. I was in industrial sales my entire life. I'm a communication management. I graduated in communication management, and then I went into sales for 10 years. I was in industrial sales, knocking on doors, wearing a tie, calling people all day long. I go home every day from work and I cook.
Mm-hmm.
And I had the best time when I got home. And I cook for my family, I cook for my friends. And one day, my wife said, "You should do this for a living." And I said, "Let's go." So I got this plan together where I'm going to be a personal chef. And I kind of researched it, and wanted to figure out what I wanted to do. And I quit my job and I said, I'm going to go cook for people. I started this little business called Home Plate Personal Chef Service.
Home plate.
And Home Plate. My tagline was, "Don't drive through, drive home." And that's, I'm gonna go cook them food at their houses. When they come back from a busy day at work, they can have a good meal with their family. And that's kind of how it all got started. I took a little part-time job just to make ends meet, and built my clientele up little by little. I had a couple clients, really had fun getting launched into it. And then 6 months into it, I met this guy named LeBron James. I'm sure you heard of him.
You know LeBron.
So his manager went to my wife and said, "Hey, we need a chef. We'd like to meet him." So I got a chance to meet LeBron James, and all of a sudden I'm launched into this new culinary world. And I got to figure out how I'm going to make it work. I love sports. I love cooking my whole life. It just became something that it evolved into.
That's awesome. And at what point did you transition from traditional culinary rules to working with professional athletes?
Well, that's the thing. It went really, really quickly because I was working with families, busy families. And then all of a sudden you're launched in with the greatest athlete,
Yeah.
future athlete anyone ever saw.
That's probably the best first opportunity for the high-profile athlete. All right, I'm going to ask you a few questions about your career background and job duties now. What is your official job title, or how would you describe your role in the sports world?
My official job title is personal chef, and more specifically, personal performance chef. So I work closely with athletes and the dietitians and the strength and conditioning coaches, and on their performance and what we cook and what he eats or they eat. Depends on how we do it.
Very nice. Next question. Could you describe what a typical day or week looks like for you when working with athletes?
Oh man, there's never a same day twice. It's just crazy. But typically, I live off the athlete's schedule, and whether it's in season, off season, everyone's customized. So one guy might be once a week, 3 days a week, 5 days a week, whatever it could be for them, but it's customized. So I get up in the morning. I never know what I'm going to make till I wake up, and I put my meal plan together for them. It's usually lunch and dinner for them to have when they get back from their training facility. So I'll get up, make my plan, go to the grocery store, buy everything we need, and go set up in the kitchen. I set up in the kitchen the exact same way every single time, no matter where I am. I put the spices to the left, the oils to the right, my cutting board next to the sink, and the trash can on the ground, and I develop a routine. So no matter where I am, I feel comfortable at home, and whoever's kitchen it might be.
That's pro.
That's pro.
Same routine, different food. All right, next question. How do you tailor your services differently for basketball players like LeBron James versus, say, a swimmer like Ryan Lochte or Jeff Gordon, or some that I researched too?
Yeah, well, everybody's different, and you know, they're great athletes in their own sector. You know, some guys are younger, some guys are older, some guys need to get stronger, gain weight, lose weight. Like LeBron was so young and growing and burning so many calories, he just needed to eat better than he did when he was a kid. So that was a fun story with him. I showed up to LeBron's the first time, and you know, he had cereal boxes and pizza boxes all over his kitchen. I'm like, well, this is going to be easy.
As a kid, yeah.
So, yeah. So whatever I was going to make, it was just going to be better than what he was already doing, and then I could develop from there. But then there's guys like Ryan Lochte you mentioned, and he needs to eat between 8 and 10,000 calories a day.
It's a lot of ingredients.
It's not a lot of ingredients, but it's a lot of calories, and they burn so much when you're swimming in a pool. You know, in and out of the water, they're burning calories all day long. Hall of Famers like Jeff Gordon, you know, they don't think NASCAR drivers are really great athletes, but they are. Imagine being in a car going 200 miles an hour and it's 145 degrees, and you're just burning calories by driving. And so hydration is key for the NASCAR drivers. Recovery is great for everybody, because the quicker you recover, the quicker you can get back to training and get ready for your next event.
So through all the different sports, recovery is the main thing through all of them.
I think it is. To me, it is. You know, you got to work hard, get bigger, get stronger, get faster, and then when you're done training, find a way to get fuel in your body so you can recover and get ready to go again the next day. And it's a grind. I'm telling you, it's a grind for every one of them, no matter what the sport.
Awesome. Next question: do you manage a team, like a sous chef or assistants, or is it just you? Do you have? I've researched. You have a lot of people all over the country trying to get you to be their chef.
Yeah, it's only me. I'm a chief bottle washer and dishwasher, and I cook and I clean. I take the trash out, but it's not that I don't trust anyone else to go and do what I do, but you know, my title is personal chef, and it's a very, very personal industry. You know, I do all my cooking in athletes' homes. So I'm going in these great kitchens in these mansions all over the country.
Yeah.
And like I said, I'm setting up the same way every time. But it's a personal environment. You're there with their family, you know, maybe their wife or their kids or you know, friends and relatives that might be in town. So it's one of those things where you have to be personal and you have to be one-on-one as much as you possibly can.
G Cooks. All right, so I've got some questions on how this connects to sports management. How do you manage the logistics of working with athletes who are constantly traveling or in season? The differences between those?
It's a big juggling act. I mean, I started, years and years ago, and I've been doing this 22 years. So 22 years ago, I was with LeBron James. I lived off a pocket calendar of their schedule. And every day I would open up and I could know when I was working that week and what time I had to go and what I had to do.
Written calendar?
No, it was the pocket ones you get that they're you know, printed out.
Yeah.
And I had carried in my wallet everywhere I went to. I'd open up, I'm like, oh good, they're going to be gone on Tuesday and Thursday, but they're back Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. And then I knew where I had to be and when. So it's pretty difficult, but NFL's different. Different leagues are harder to manage. NBA is for sure the hardest because they're gone a couple days, gone, you know, maybe 2 or 3 days, and they're home for a week, then they're gone one, back one, gone one, back one. It's just like you don't really know. But NFL is the easiest because NASCAR is the same way because they're here all week training. If they have a home game, they stay home. If they have an away game, they leave on Friday or Saturday to play on Sunday. So that one's a lot easier to manage. You know, in season and off season, their training going to be different. So some guys are looking the off season to build weight, you know, gain muscle mass, or lose 10 pounds, whatever it might be too. So the challenges are fun and interesting at the same time. So I really enjoy whatever they're going to bring at me. I get to go take that challenge on.
Add the challenge to the resume a little bit.
That's all.
Do you coordinate directly with agents, team nutritionists, or any other members of the athlete support team for if they're a team sport player?
Yes, the agents every once in a while, they're kind of a pain in the butt, and you know their main interest is to look at the best interest of the athlete's financial situation. So, you know, they call you up and how much does it cost to do this? I'm like, well, let me know what we're gonna do. Everything's customized.
Yeah. And
once you get rid of the agent, you work directly with the athlete, which is my plan. I want to know who's in charge and who's going to sit at the table eating the food.
Personal.
It's personal. So I want to talk to that person face to face. I do work closely with the team dietitians along with the strength and conditioning coaches because they have their thumb on everything with these athletes. They know how much they weigh, how much they have to gain and lose. You know, they test how much they're sweating every day.
Yeah.
They test what they're sweating out of their body, how much salt intake they need, so that there's a lot of information that I can get from them to do better at my job, and that they can get from me, and they trust me to go and do what I need to do. So those are some people that I work closely with.
They're like the scientists.
Yeah, we've talked about more about that, but when I first started, it was the the team dietitian would bring this book, and back then it was an actual book, and it was like how you got to eat to be a great athlete.
Yeah.
And it's everything listed, and it would be like this thick.
Mm-hmm.
And the player would just look at it and be like, gee, what do I do? I don't know what this means. So I'd be the liaison between the dietitian
Yeah.
and the athlete. And like, I understood everything in the book, and I could explain it to the athlete. I understood everything in the book, and I could ask questions to the dietitian. So it just brought everything together, where the athlete doesn't have to worry, and the dietitian doesn't have to worry. So it's a great trust factor.
A little translator, and it tastes good too.
It tastes good too. Well, you hope so. But I tell them, like, if it's good,
Yeah.
let me know. If you don't, we got to talk about it. So I need to know the truth from everybody.
gcooks.com, check the recipes out. They look delicious. What kind of communication and organizational skills are required to operate at your level?
When I talk to these players, the very first day, this is an interesting one because if I have a new athlete that wants to get together, wants to talk, they think they're interviewing me.
But really, you're
And I set up,
interviewing
right, so I'll set up the interview. I said, okay, let's go sit down and talk. What they don't know is that I'm interviewing them the entire time. I'm listening to what they say. I want to know where they come from, how serious they are about being the best you can be, getting to the next level. This isn't, middle school to high school. This is, mostly college to pros, pros to all-star, all-star to Hall of Fame. The next level is where you want to be. So you can judge somebody right away by meeting them. And I say that communication is the number one thing. We could, don't lie to me. If you don't like the food, you have to tell me.
Yeah.
So I can fix it and make it better. And you can't hurt my feelings. Eat the food because it's going to help you and it's going to be within the nutritional parameters
Yeah.
that we've set up already. But if there's something you don't like, you have to tell me and we'll change it and make it work. And let's go and get better.
Communication is key
It's
to everything.
It's the key, drives everything.
Have you had to hire or train anybody? What do you look for in team members to support elite clients? I guess not because you're by yourself, but
Yeah, it's just me, but I've mentored so many chefs around the country, and since I've evolved and been approachable to some of these chefs, you get these newbies and they really want to get in with the professional athletes because that's
Yeah.
their main goal in life, but like they don't know, they just want to be famous. I'm like, look, that has nothing to do with that. So I've been able to mentor these chefs who come to me with serious questions about what's it like to cook for these guys and what do you want to do and what's the best way to go about it. Not, how much you charge.
Yeah.
Because some people want to pick your brain just so they can go copy you. But the mentoring aspect's the biggest part. I'm not training them to come work for me. But if I mentor them and I see they're successful, I would have no problem, getting together with them and cooking and talking shop.
Talking shop. So half of it's cooking, mostly communication and training.
It's 20% the food, man. I'm telling you, it's 80% of everything else. Being a part of something that's bigger than you, being there for someone to rely on you so they can get to the next level.
I love it. Okay, the next section I'd like to go over is the challenges and the industry trends you had to face. So what are some of the biggest challenges you face in your career, especially working in such high-stake environments and high-profile athletes?
Well, there's a lot of challenge. Everything's a challenge, but the one that stands out the most to me, especially when working with new young athletes, is how to deal with the family and friends. Because these are guys that were the best athletes in their college, the best athletes in their high school that their hometown has ever seen.
Yeah.
And now they're going to this next level we talked about, and their family and friends think they're the greatest thing in the world. So they sometimes want to treat me like I work for them.
Yeah.
When in fact, we work together. I don't work for you. You don't work for me. We work together to accomplish our goals. So dealing with some of the people that, distant relatives just want to show off and maybe tell you what to do. And you're like, man, come on, dude. You can't even dribble the basketball.
He's never made a layup in his life.
Never made a layup in your life, and you're going to tell me that I'm doing it wrong?
Yeah.
So it's just a tightrope you have to walk to, and again, part of the communication to deal with these players and their families, because it's really lonely for this athletes. And they're surrounded. They think by their core group, but people come out of the woodwork and want to be part of their core group, but they're really not.
They want the fame and the money.
They want the fame. They want the money. They want the clicks and the exposure, and that became easy for me because I really don't care as much about the social side of it. If they had, X and Twitter when LeBron and I started, who knows what would be today. But I just made it a point not to do anything like that too.
Yeah.
So anonymity is a really big part of this. Staying under the radar. I say over the radar, but it's just, you're locked in a personal communication situation with a great athlete, and that's all that matters.
And the results.
Yeah.
Love it. Have there been any major changes in how athletes approach food and nutrition over the years?
Oh, immense changes. I mean, from day one, it's the science of nutrition is just evolving every single day. Some of it good, some of it's kind of just kind of thrown at you. Marketing, just gets in the way of a lot of things, and it's going to continue to change. Everything these athletes do is monitored. Everything they put in their body. And I've told people, my tagline is "Eat like you mean it," and it means eat on purpose. It means know every single thing that's going into your body. And there's a list of stuff they can and can't take. Supplements will always be part of this growing industry. You can trust them just enough to look into them more. But it's going to go back to the same basic things about eat like you mean it, what you're putting in your body, real food.
Yeah.
Wow. So I say the most important things when you're eating is lean protein, complex carbohydrates, leafy greens, healthy fats. And those are 4 that you can put in your body and know what you're doing. And you don't need a supplement.
No. You don't need a pill.
Right. Know what you're putting in your body, and that's it. But it'll continue to evolve, and the supplements are one thing. But they got to be careful because there's a list. It has to be NSF approved.
Yeah.
If you put something in your body that's not on that list, then you're taking a chance on your future. And the best athletes know every single thing they put in their body.
And they should too.
Right. And they can trust me to know what's going in their body as well. So
that carries to the next one. I like this question because of the new technology that's come out, like DoorDash and Uber Eats. So how has technology changed your role, if it has at all? It might not, but DoorDash, like meal planning apps, food delivery, DoorDash.
The meal planning apps are really cool. When I first started, I had a software called Menu Magic, and it was really useful because you could do everything through it. You could make your grocery list of your menu that you do. You could put your clients in there, and you could bill them all the way through it. It was a really cool thing at the time. It was
like on a desktop.
Yeah, it was desktop, state of the art at the time, and I got so used to it. I continued to use it 15 years and it had been like expired for 10. Like they didn't even make it anymore, but I knew what I was doing. And little did I realize that there was so much more you can get through other software.
Yeah.
So now I use a software program for past 6 years now, 7 years, and it's called Menu Magic. And it's not called Menu Magic. Hold on a second. I use a program now. It's called Modern Meal. And Modern Meal is just, you can go down to the nutritional value of every ingredient that's in your recipe. So I'll make up my menu. Can print the grocery list right off of it. It's cool because my grocery list, I put it in order of how I walk around the store.
Yeah.
So by the time I walk in, I'm just going up and down aisles, grabbing everything off the shelf. I'm in and out in 10 minutes, 11 minutes. But I also, if I have to show the dietitian or work closely with them, what's in it, what's in the food I'm making. And they can just go back and evaluate and say, hey, it might be better if you did a little less of this and a little more of this.
Yeah.
So Modern Meal is modern.
Yeah.
So I'm loving the apps, all that stuff. I creature of habit. So I handwrite my recipes every morning on my menu, and then I enter it into my software and go to work.
I bet they respect the originality too.
I wish I could write my menu in cursive. They would probably love that. Or they might not be able to read it.
Probably not. No. What trends do you see shaping the future of nutrition in professional sports? So I guess the last question transition to this one. Do you see any new trends that are in nutrition that's kind of new in the sports world?
I don't ever follow the trends or chase the trends. They're just driven. They're driven for marketing purposes, and nothing's changed. Like it's, lean chicken is still lean chicken. So the trends come in maybe the kind of food you're eating, but if you're following the trends and you're doing the same thing as everybody else, I like to go very back to the basics, and simpler. I like to know what's on my plate. So to chase the trends, not my style. You're always going to see them, and you can add some of the flavors of those to your menus if they want. But that's what all the chain restaurants are doing.
Keep it simple. All right. Looking back, would you still choose to go into this unique blend of culinary arts and sports, or would you do anything different?
I wouldn't change it for the world, man. I grew up in sports. I played sports. I coached sports. I absolutely love it. I've cooked, God, almost my whole life. Never taken a class in my life, but I've always liked to cook. And when this opportunity came about, it just happened to grow and become, evolve naturally. And there's nothing I would change about it.
Perfect. Self-taught is fate.
Self-learning, I like to say, because every day you're learning something different and adding to the bag.
Keep adding to the bag. What do you wish you had known when you first started working with athletes?
I nipped it in the bud early, but how to say no more.
Mm-hmm.
Because some people want a chef to become bigger, stronger, faster, smarter, and do better.
Yeah.
Some people just get paid, $100 million contract and just want to have a chef at the house to cut crust off their sandwiches for them.
Yeah.
That was a funny story. I think that I had been with LeBron like a month, and I got a call. I worked there all day long, and I got home and I had dinner and put my kids to bed, and the phone rang. It was 10 o'clock at night, and his manager wanted me to come back downtown and make sandwiches for him and his buddies who were playing poker. And I thought, like, I was there all day. I'm not going to make sandwiches. I'll see you tomorrow.
Yeah.
And it was scary because I thought I might get some kickback from it.
Yeah.
But at the end, they really respected it.
For sure.
Because I could just shown up and done it, and then I would have had to do it every Thursday
Yeah.
for the next 5 years. And I was like, nope, I'm going to learn to say no, and I'll see you tomorrow.
They'll be there all day and all night too.
Yep. And they respected that too.
Yeah.
So I look back and it was a blessing in disguise.
For sure.
Mm-hmm.
That goes to the next one. What's been the most rewarding moment or client experience in your career?
Well, this one's personal, even with you here, but I used to get a kick out of, I bring LeBron up a lot because I was with him every day for 5 years.
Yeah.
When you walk into the kitchen and he's in the living room playing himself on a video game, and you're standing there watching him, well, I don't know what it would have been called back then, NBA.
Probably 2K. I don't even know, 4.
It was early, but he's dribbling. He's playing and beat himself and cussing, and just like I'm watching him on the screen and him with the match. So that was really rewarding. But the best one was when after I went to every single game for 5 years, and after the game, you guys would all come down on the floor and hang out. And I looked over, and there's LeBron with you and Olivia up on his shoulders, and just walking around, and you're hitting the nets and stuff and having fun. And I'm like, I can't even believe this is so surreal happening right now too. And later that night, LeBron came to me and said, you never asked for any autographs or anything, and don't you want anything? I said, I'd just rather be part of the family.
Yeah, there you go.
And he smacked me on the leg and he walked away smiling. I'm thinking, like, that was the most rewarding thing ever.
Probably for him too.
For him too, because I wasn't there for anything else but to
Yeah.
help him be better and help my family get better and grow.
I love that.
That's a true story.
Oh yeah. That's our guy. For someone who might want to break into the sports industry, that's up and coming, not necessarily an athlete, but maybe a supporting role, what advice would you give?
Well, be
Supporting
good
role
at
meaning chef or assistant or agent.
Yeah, there's a lot of different roles for these athletes, and be really good at what you do and be yourself, because that's all that matters. And there's so many people that are trying to bust into this industry, like I said, for the fame and the clicks and the social, and it's like, be good at what you do, find yourself a niche. Like that's the most important thing too. Be good at what you do, be yourself, and find a niche and run with it.
Riches are in the niches.
Riches in the niches. Find your lane. There's a lot of lanes in this industry. Just find yours and what you're best at, and go with it.
Yep. But not try to chase the clicks or the fame.
I know, I'm telling you.
So wrapping up, I got some wrap-up questions. Is there anything we didn't cover that you think would be valuable for someone studying sports management?
Well, I just finished that last one talking about the niche. There's you can separate yourself from the masses by finding what you do best,
Yeah.
and applying it to how it's going to help you and that athlete succeed.
Mm-hmm.
Because you're going to do better if they do better.
That applies to someone studying and doing class for sports management too.
Yeah, I mean, you could read all the books you want to, but until you're out It's all
Yeah.
about action.
Experience. Leave it. How can people learn more about you or what you do?
Gcooks.com. Check it out. I have a website. I've had it for so long too, but I have a client list up there on my resume, and there's some amazing names, and it's pretty fun to see. I go back and look every once in a while and just start laughing.
Yeah.
I think on my list of athletes from NBA basketball, NFL football, PGA golf.
Mm-hmm.
I work with the Navy SEALs. I work with Olympic athletes. I think there's 4, 5, 6, maybe 7 down the road clients on that list that are going to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh,
in
yeah.
3 or 4 different sports. So, if you want to get to for some people, the next level is the Hall of Fame. That's one of the most rewarding.
For sure.
Jeff Gordon's already in it. Ben Wallace is already in the Hall of Fame. LeBron's a lock. Steve Smith Sr. is on the ballot right now, so hopefully next year or so.
Keep pounding.
Greg Olson's eligible next year for the Hall of Fame. If Christian McCaffrey can stay healthy, he has a good shot at it. And there's probably, there might be 2 or 3 athletes I haven't even met yet.
Yeah, true.
And they're going to go to the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
So I have a goal, they have a goal, and we all work together. That's pretty interesting. So gcooks.com, and you can also get me on Insta at gcooks22. I don't take a ton of pictures, but everything that I put up there is food that I cook. It's not staged. There's no lighting. There's no backdrops. It's my food, my people.
It's personal. Gcooks.com. Check it out. Thanks again, Glenn, for sharing your time and experience today. It's been incredible and insightful and inspiring. I've learned a lot about the cooking world and the sports world, but more about the behind the scenes and then the dedication that goes into it.
Keep pounding.
Keep pounding.